So what is the secret of the Sheikah? Hey guys, hope you've been enjoying Breath of the Wild. I know I have. But anyways, within Breath of the Wild, we get to know a bit more about the Sheikah tribe. And I mean more so than any other Zelda game. For instance, we actually get to see the members of the tribe. But before I go any further within this video, I do want to give a bit of a spoiler warning as we will be going over a bit of them. But nothing too major. So with that out of the way, let's begin. First off, let's start with the very first memory within Breath. In this cutscene, we see Zelda knighting Link. Additionally, she also references the Twilight invasion, as in what occurred in Twilight Princess. Now, I won't get too deep about Breath of the Wild's timeline placement as I will probably save my 2 cents on another video. But for the sake of argument, let's pair Twilight Princess and Breath of the Wild in the same continuity or timeline. So now that we have established that premise, let's take a closer look at the Sheikah. According to past lore indicated by Impa, 10,000 years before the events of Breath, the Kingdom of Hyrule along with the Sheikah were a technologically advanced civilization, wielding both the Guardians and the 4 divine beasts. Now, notice the terms divine beasts. Now, let's move on back to Twilight Princess. In dialogue with Midna, she reveals a prophecy that a divine beast would save her people. Adding on to this connection, when we go to the Palace of Twilight, we actually see a Sheikah symbol on the throne room in the Palace of Twilight. Additionally, Twilight tech, along with Sheikah tech within Breath of the Wild, are oddly similar. Now, is there a connection? Well, there might. For example, if the Twilight are indeed related to the Sheikah, the prophecy makes a connection that a divine beast, Sheikah-made technology, would end up helping the Twilight. For instance, during the Interloper conflict, interlopers used a fused shadow to obtain a competitive edge, which also has a Sheikah symbol behind it, alluding that this object is also related to the Sheikah tech in some way. The prophecy that Midna talks about could have alluded that if the Sheikah reclaim the divine beasts, they will essentially be almost unstoppable. However, Midna likely did not know that the divine beasts alluded to massive technological mechs, and likely interpreted the prophecy of the divine beast being Wolf Link instead. So what does this all mean? Well, at least looking at both Twilight Princess and Breath of the Wild, they are connected. For instance, within Twilight Princess, there is a dungeon in the desert known as Arbiter's Grounds. The same general location does make an appearance within Breath, except that it is either buried in the desert or is nothing but ruins. But if that is the case, how else can we tie in both Twilight and Breath? Well, according to Impa, at least 10,000 years separates Breath of the Wild with the other games, if we are talking about the child timeline that is. And since we do see a lot of Sheikah within Breath of the Wild, what actually happened during this time frame? Well, I do want to point out one thing. As far as I've went through the game, absolutely none of the Sheikah within Breath of the Wild have red eyes. Well, the closest thing are Pura's eyes, but even then they are an amberish brown, not those striking red eyes like before, which is supposedly a Sheikah trait. And not even Impa within the game has this feature. So what can explain this? Well, we can make a theory. What we do know about the Sheikah within the game is that they all have white hair, which is again interesting. For example, Impa in Skyward Sword is blonde, and so is Fanati within Twilight Princess. And according to both lore within Ocarina and Twilight, the Sheikah dwindled down in wars. So what can we infer about the Sheikah due to this insight? Well, one explanation is that there could have been a population of Sheikah that was simply hidden away in Hyrule, and only recently popped up around 10,000 years before Breath of the Wild. A bit strange, but I suppose that can make sense. Adding on to that explanation, according to Hyrule Historia page 118, that the very existence of the world of Twilight left a lingering scar in Hyrule. So if another population of Sheikah was around, they would have known what happened during the Twilight invasion, and thus discovering their distant cousins, the Twilight. Additionally, while doing so, they could have rediscovered their roots by cross-referencing what the Kingdom of Twilight was like, which eventually led the Sheikah to reconnect with their advanced tech. via the prophecy that Mina told the hero of Twilight, which led them working alongside the Hylians to get the 4 divine beasts up and running again, to ultimately seal Ganon around 10,000 years before Breath of the Wild. However, around this time, according to Breath lore, this caused the Hylians to be fearful of the Sheikah and their advanced tech. So, as a result, the King of Hyrule at the time sent them out. And as a result, the Sheikah yet again are exiled from their technology. And I can imagine some members within the Sheikah tribe did not like being alienated once again. According to past Zelda lore, the Sheikah in the past were being pushed to the fringes of society constantly. This recent move may or may not have led to the rise of the Yiga clan, which is a clan within the Sheikah tribe that turned rebel, donning an upside-down Sheikah symbol as their banner. And on a completely separate note, the leader of the Yiga clan within Breath, Master Koga, has a somewhat similar moveset to Zant, and considering the connection between divine beasts between Breath of the Wild and Twilight Princess, and the relationship between the Twilight and the Sheikah, is there a connection between both cultures? Perhaps, perhaps not. On the last note, Eiji Aonuma in a past interview did say that there would be "oh, I see" moments when replaying Twilight Princess after playing Breath of the Wild. Could the divine beasts be one of these references? Let me know in the comment section below. I really am curious to see your thoughts on this. Hopefully this starts some sort of constructive debate in the comments. So, are the divine beasts also alluded to in Twilight Princess, or is it just simply coincidence? And since we are on the topic about the Sheikah, I will be doing a vid detailing the complete history about the tribe, and that should be coming up soon. Ever since Breath of the Wild came out, there are tons of lore to work with. The first vid about the Sheikah should be up relatively soon, around Tuesday or so, and pulled out all the stops on that one. Found a way to do some cinematic shots within Breath of the Wild for that occasion. Also, before I go, I am doing a Zelda Amiibo giveaway. A little thank you for watching this video. We are giving them away over at our Twitch stream, tonight on the 12th actually. In fact, by the time this video is up, we are already streaming. So come on in and say hi and try to snag one of these. Thanks for watching everyone. Also, this video is brought to you by our patron Dominique Gondron Langlois. Thanks man, and take care everyone.